Okay, guys. So let me open the yesterday's session. Okay. Okay, so yesterday we majorly talked about the inheritance details, the overriding thing, and final keyword, right? How to restrict from parent to child. Okay, how to apply such restrictions, and what was the other topics discussed? Yeah, I think mainly these only, right? The bank example, the interest rate, whatever it is, final keyword, all these things. So any issue with this? Any doubts? Okay, thanks, Nitish. Okay, so one more thing. So, guys, do you have any idea about the data structures we use in Java? I'm not talking about the algorithms and data structures like tree and all these things. The normal data structure we use in day-to-day life in like while writing Java programs, like uh, um, if you are familiar with other language like C++ and all, you must have heard array and all these things. But we usually use list, hash maps, and all these things. So, are you guys aware of all these things, how they work, or like is it new to you? Any suggestion like list, hash maps? You understand the basic concept, or
Yeah, sure. I have an idea on Arraylist, Hashmap, liquor list, and these concepts.
okay? But you need some details like how they will work in Java, right? The uh, how to write and consume in Java, right?
Yeah, it's basically in Hashmap, how these collision and more of how the hash key will be generated. This thing will be quite tricky over you. If it's better, you can explain this concept. And before of that, you go with array list and linked list. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, arrays is the main topic over. We're coming into the collection of Java of the data structures.
Mm. Understood. So, but when we write production grade application, we use list mostly instead of array because of their rich features. So it's the same thing only. So we'll gonna talk about that only. Okay, I'll explain you how it will work. Okay, so let's start with the list first, and then we'll move on to the other things. Okay, I hope my screen is visible, right?
Yeah, Chiran.
Okay. So basic any list. Suppose if you want to create any list of any type like string, I would say student names nearly. So this is how we create a empty list. Okay. So everything in Java is object and come from a class. So we are creating an object student name which refer to a array list class. Okay, it's like a object of array list class. So this is how a object is being created, right? Here we will define what type of list it will be, like string list, integer list, or any particular object that you are creating, right? So this is how empty list will be created. And how to add data to the list: student's name dot add simply, suppose Chirag name dot add Rohan, and what you say, Anything you can add. Okay, so now the other things comes in, how to get this data. Okay, suppose if I'll run this program at this point only, I created a list, I added the data, it's correct, nothing much. See, application started, nothing is happening. Okay, now you must know this concept, like in any programming language, like I don't know, mostly I whatever I heard of, Java, C++, C Sharp, Python, this list or array, they start with zero indexing, right? Whatever you are writing, so if I'll say Chirag, it's not the first one, it's like a zeroth index. Okay, so this is how a old way of getting or iterating an array or list. Okay, suppose I'll write int student's name dot size. So student name dot size will give me the size of this list. Okay, and I'm starting my iteration from zero, so this will be zero, this will be one, and this will be two. Okay, so I is starting from zero till shorter than n. N is my, suppose if I'll get the size will be 3. Okay, let me print here also. System.println then student's name dot get, and I need to pass the index. Okay, if I'll start this, see, size of my list is 3, and these are the 3 people in my list, right? So first one is 0 0 1 2. If you see, this is how the for loop we write in Java. Okay, so this is like a base case. Initially I started with 0, I should be less than n, and after every iteration increment I by 1, right? And for each iteration, this is my code to perform in the for loop, right? I hope this for loop you guys already know, right?
Yeah, Shirag, we know on the JavaScript itself, but
Sure,
the same iteration will occur in the Java also, right?
yeah, yes, sure,
Yeah.
sure, okay. So this is like a old way of iterating it, but if you will write such code in production grade code, it doesn't look good, right? Sorry. So what the other way of writing the same loop is, you don't need to calculate the length and all this iterating I, managing I, it doesn't look good. So what Java will provide is, for string why write I names colon, I'll simply say student name, that's all. System.out.println names. I think this way JavaScript also support this way only. See, I got the details. Simply, this is basically you need to specify what kind of list you are iterating in. Okay, so my list contain only string, so I gave this name. Name is like simply any variable name that you gave. If I'll say ABC also, it will work. And then colon to refer my student name list. That's all. I'll get the data from list. It's automatically iterate over the list, right? So this is the list. uh, List also, if I'll give you student dot, like after adding dot you will have all these features. Add, you can simply add in the end. The second one is add, where you first variable is index and the second is element, which means you can add at the particular index as well. Okay, then size, then get, if you want to get a particular index, whatever we were doing in the last run. Okay, then add all. If you have other list and you want to merge it, suppose like this is student list, and you have list of string, what you say, student, sorry, names b equals to new array list, and I'll say student name b dot add. Suppose I'll add Ajay dot add Ajay, and I'll simply do student names dot add all. Okay, and I'll provide other collection like this one. So now my final student list will have all the 5 elements, sorry, 5 student names, right? So this is how you can merge two list or two arrays as well. Student name dot add get all size. Sorting also, you don't need to specify anything, just simply do the sort. Contains, you can check, particularly if you want to set any particular element, right? Which means you want to update, like instead of Rohan you want to make it something else, so you can change it also. Clear, and contains also. I mean, there are a lot of what you say, method provided internally by Java. Remove, list, index, all. Okay, so this is the one thing. So okay, uh, uh okay, guys, tell me one thing. If I have to iterate this array, okay, iterate this list, and I know as soon as I figure out what I'm looking for and I don't want to print the remaining one, how I'll do that? So suppose the list is Chirag, Rohan, Vijay, Ajay, and Chirag, Rohan, Vinay, Ajay, Vijay. I'm searching for Ajay. Okay, so I want to print only, I want to check only first four. As soon as I figure out Ajay, I don't want to iterate my entire array. So how can we do that? Do you know how you guys do in JavaScript? Okay. Yeah, continue. Someone was saying something.
So can we use while loop?
Sorry, Kiran.
Can we use while loop?
Yeah, it's just a while and for loop are just a way to iterate only. While is okay, but what condition or how you will restrict your loop to not go ahead and stop as soon as you figure out the what you are looking for.
Like if in for loop we use a if condition, like,
Mm-hmm.
and we can break after all we find that name, we can put break method.
Yeah, correct. So break is the correct way. As soon as you figure out, you can just break the loop and get out of the loop. That's correct. And tell me one thing. So suppose if you are iterating the loop and if you want to do a computation for a particular iteration only or particular condition only and ignore all other iteration that are coming in your way, then what you will do? So suppose the way you told me, what it will do, sorry, what it will do, it will keep on printing Chirag Rohan. Okay, let me write it here, it will be little more clear to other people as well. So as Kiran said, if name equals to Ajay breaks. Okay. So wrote out of println name. Oh, sorry. Correct. So it printed first four, and then it breaks the loop, and Vijay is not printed. But suppose, what if I want to print only Ajay? Then what will you do? I'm not gonna put this print statement in if loop. Apart from this, what else you gonna do?
We can use find method or something.
Find is also one way. I'm talking about loop. What condition you will do in the loops? Like break is one way to break the loop. What is the other way to ignore some iteration in the loop? Continue. Yes, correct. So continue we can use like
Yeah, we can use else, I think.
if name not equals to Ajay, continue else dot out println. Or we don't even need the else statement here, because anyway else was redundant. It simply do. You just need to put one condition. If it is not matching my criteria, just continue the loop. Don't go ahead. So yeah, this is basics about the loops or the list. Okay. Uh, so suppose uh, there is my object called student. Okay. And I want to add like 5 student details to the list. So can someone paste in the chat how you will create a list where we can store number of students? How we'll create a list of students? Anyone can paste in the chat like how you will do. This is my student class name. Simple student. it will be same only, like instead of writing string, you can create student. Okay, now it will, this array will contain number of students. So suppose if I'll create student s1 equals to new student s1 dot set, sorry, okay, let's to comment out. See, I got the details like this. So it's same for object and the literals, right? The way you create list, it will be the same. I mean, this is the way we gonna use list mostly, even in the Spring Boot code. So like we are going to create DTOs and then list of DTOs. Like suppose you have some details in your database, hundred thousands of rows, so that you're gonna fetch in the list itself, and that each what you say, each row will map to some DTO. So this is how we use it generally. Okay, so this was about the list that we usually use. Uh, then map of key value, like suppose I'll create string comma, or I'll say teacher comma string. Let us say this student map equals to new hash map. So like we created array list, similarly we will create hash map also. Okay, this is my name of hash map, these are my key value constraint. Okay, and this is like a standard signature for creating hash map. So why I kept integer, because I need a uh, I mean, the thing is, this key should be unique always. You are adding each record corresponding to key and value, so your key should be unique. Okay, if you will pass on the same key, it will update, I mean override the same code. So suppose I need to add some details. Student map dot put 1 comma chirag dot put 2 comma So if you see, I added Ajay two times because there can be a very high possibility in the same classroom there will be two students with the same name, and that's why we kept integer as a key because their roll number should be unique. So Ajay, this one is a roll number 2, but this Ajay is roll number 4, right? So this is the way to differentiate or add values in key map, so that every record should have some unique value where we can distinguish between the different data. Okay, for of column. So this is how we iterate the map. So what I get is, this is my map. I ask my map to give me a entry set. Okay. And how the entry set will look like, each of my entry will be a pair of like this integer and string. And now system dot out dot println entry dot, so let me put that way, is get key. See, Chirag, Ajay, Vijay, then Ajay. Because 4 was unique. But if I'll add here, suppose I'll again add 2, and I'll say Gautam, then what will happen is, see, instead of second Ajay, what I added here, it replaced the second roll number name with Gautam, because the second roll number, that should be a unique key. If you are using the same key again, it will override your data. I mean, this is like basic hash map thing. So did you understand this hash map, or how to iterate this hash map? This is little uh, what do you say, uh, tricky syntax. If you need, I can paste this in the chat. Need it for reference. Okay, so that was about list and hash map. Guys, any doubt on this one? Like, Anup, you were asking how the hash key was created.
Yeah, yes. This one.
So you understood, right?
Yeah, I got this thing. When it will directly override the second position.
Yes. So basically, the idea is your key should be unique every time. You should use some unique identifier for your record so that you can differentiate between multiple records.
Hello, Chirag. Hi.
Yes, Kiran.
Yeah, can you explain once again for in this map concept and mean hash mapping?
Yeah, sure.
Only for loop. Just
This for loop. Okay.
yeah,
This syntax, right?
yeah.
Okay, so if you see every hash map we create for key value pair, right? So that we have some key, unique key, and there should be some unique data to it, right? So here my key is 1 and data is Chirag. This is a string. So I'm adding, this is the way to add data in the map. Okay, if you see whatever I'm adding in the map is like a key value pair, right? And each key value pair denote one entry. Suppose this is entry 0 and this is entry 1, right? Similarly, like we did in list, right? So this is how my entries are being created. Now you are asking Java, okay, this is my map. Give me a set of entries that is available in my map. Okay, so it will give you all the entries, and every time each entry is being mapped to this particular entry, and you need to specify what type of entry you are looking from. So suppose you are adding, you created your map with integer and string, and here if I'll ask them, okay, give me data of double, see it will start giving me error, because see, if you see the error, required type was integer and string entry, and provided was double and string, right? Which means your map, whatever you are asking from map, it's coming as an integer and string, and here you are asking to give them double and string, which is not possible. So you should change it to integer only, and now your entry will get from the entry set, and each time you can iterate and write your logic on the entry line.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, guys, any doubt? Anyone else?
No.
Okay. Okay. So I would recommend try creating some DTO. DTO as in like this one, the student one. Okay. Try to make it like 4 or 5 field DTO, little complex one, and try to use different what do you say, data type as well, string and integer, double, and then create maps and list with it, and try to play around how to iterate, or if you want to skip some records, how to particularly fetch some record. Okay, try this way and play around this list and hash map. Then we'll move on to some other concept, because hash maps and list, trust me, you are going to use most when you are going to write some production code. Whatever we are talking, like inheritance, uh, a polymorphism, I know they are core concept, they are basic concept, but you don't need to bother lot much about these things, because that's where the framework comes in. Framework will handle so many things for you, like the getters and setters. You need to understand the concept, but when you start writing production code, nobody consider all these things. They just go ahead with the annotation and whatever frameworks are providing. But list, all these hash maps, these are, you have to come up with your logic in your mind, like okay, this is type of data I'll be getting from my database or from my client, or like the API request I'll be getting in, and then I have to map data to this, and then do some calculation and get me some result, right? So I mean, if I'll show you some production code, it will be list, hash maps, all this DTO mapping and all this. That's what we do in the back end, right? So try to play around this and see if you face any issue.
Yeah, Chirag.
Okay. I mean, I think this is, you have enough for try it out. Today is Thursday. Okay, so we'll try to cover little more topics on Friday, because anyway I think Saturday and Sundays are off. So for Friday we'll try to keep the session little lengthy, and then we'll try to check if you can come up with some assignments, right? It will be better if you can try out something, so that will also know, is it like understandable, or we need to work more on the some old concept or the core concept. Because once this small things are done, we'll move to some advanced topics, and then eventually to Spring Boot.
Okay, Chirag.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye, Chirag.